and I consider getting one of the faucets where you can pull a thing on. But this does basically the same thing. It swivels, and the water comes out like this, or you turn it and it comes out like that.
I was just finishing up the editing of this week's video, and I thought I'd cut in real time just to say a few things. First, I want to thank everybody for their comments, their suggestions, places to see, things to do, all of that, even equipment comments. Those are so helpful, and it's changed the way we travel. It's changed how we use our rig, and I really appreciate it. And I think it also helps a lot of people because I continue to try to pass all that information on to everyone. As far as this week's video, it's a little different because up until now, in the last number of weeks, it's been about our travels in Utah. And some people come here for the travel videos. Some people come because they want to learn things about rigs. They're trying to decide what to buy. They're looking for tips, that sort of thing. And I know I can't include all of those things in every video. And so I thought I'd break it up this week with an interview I did when we went back to Horse Thief and met up with a couple from San Diego. They are the owners of a 2018 Lexor, and he had lots of great ideas. Even if you don't have a Lexor, some of these can be applied to your rig. Sometimes I just get the inkling of an idea and then I turn it into something else. So hopefully you'll find it helpful. If you're just here for the travel stuff though, come back next week when we will be in Goblin Valley and hiking an amazing slot canyon. We are right now in, I don't know if you can tell. If you could smell, you would know where we are because it smells like a giant bonfire. It's it's actually quite sad to see. We're back in California and camped where you can't see any of the mountains because it's obscured by smoke. We're going to continue to head south a little bit. We're staying in the area for another week, but we're going to head south because the air quality has been so awful. And hopefully down a little bit farther south in the Sierra, it gets better. We're also going to be meeting up with some friends and doing some fun things, hopefully, in the Sierra, checking out fall color, all of those great things that you do in the fall in the Sierra. So I hope you'll join us next week if this is not your cup of tea. Thanks for coming along. We'll see you soon. We're here in Horse Thief Campground in just somewhere near Moab. And we were invited to stay in the campground with a couple from San Diego, Jim and Jeannie Barta. And Jim, some of you may recognize his name because he comments sometimes on the Pleasureway group, right, in the forum?
Yes, I do.
Any other places?
No.
You're not a troll anywhere else?
No.
No, no trolling.
No.
Anyway, so we're really thankful because Friday and Saturday nights are hard to get camp spots anywhere around here. So we're mooch talking again, but this is a BLM campground. And Jim has some neat things he's done to his Lexor, and so he's agreed to show them to me. And the first one he's standing in front of. So tell us what this is and why you have it.
This is to keep the sun from hitting the side of the motorhome that has a refrigerator in it.
What kind of refrigerator?
It's got a Dometic 3030, I believe.
An absorption refrigerator.
Yes, yes. And it gets very hot anyway, and I've installed fans in the top, but I'm not sure that's working. But this shades out about 90% of the sun, and so it'll keep it from getting hot. And it's really supposed to be a 3-foot-high fence thing you put out to stop wind. Mm-hmm. And it had all these connections, and I didn't like the color necessarily, but it was something to play with. Mm-hmm. And I could get a silver one that would match better if I wanted to keep it, if it works.
We've seen them done with Reflectix, but I think this looks better, and it probably stores a lot better. It's easier to store this than the Reflectix.
Yes, it folds right up, and it's made with PVC pipe, and it separates, so the air can come out the top, air can get in the bottom vent. I hope it works.
So you've been having trouble getting your temperature to 40 degrees in your absorption fridge.
Yes, it's,
Like we were.
yeah, especially at altitude.
Yeah.
And propane doesn't seem to do it. Your batteries don't seem to do it. I'm not sure if you're plugged in if it's going to be any different, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
And the problem is we like to have our doors open in the rear and sleep with the doors open and the mosquito netting down. But a lot of times that makes this have to be in the sun. Otherwise, I'll park it backwards.
Oh, right.
So that's
okay.
that.
Well, great. What next? What do you want to show us?
Real quickly on the outside, I had a problem. I hit a bump in the. I was out in the desert and I hit a bump and I tore off part of my.
Let me put this up.
My system down here. I tore it off, and so in rebuilding it, one thing I think works really well is, in order to hook your sewer hose on the Pleasureways or on the Lexors, you got to reach way in there to do it. Mm-hmm. But there's a 3.5-inch clear pipe that you can hook on there, and it clears this when this door is shut by about 1/4 of an inch. Mm-hmm. So you can see if it's clear when you flush your systems, you can see how clear it is. The other thing that I did was I felt that my sewer hose was too short, and it didn't have a connection on the end of it. And in some states they require a direct connection. So I added a pipe that's expandable. It's a larger one, so it can fit a nicer sewer hoses that have good connections. And I have two 10-foot sections in here. And I use 10-foot normally, but I could hook a second one on if I was too far to get to the sewer. And that fits, and it works perfect. It was pretty simple to do. And
now we have lost quite a few of the caps that go on here. In fact, one of those nipples in ours is sheared off. We always carry an extra cap with us, and I think, John, you said that we lost one just this last week. Lost another one.
The cap?
Yeah, the cap that goes
on here.
Yeah, we've lost 3 or 4 of them, so we always carry an extra. Have you ever had that problem?
I've never lost one, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not tightening it enough to, all the way down.
No, I think that's why it's sheared off. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, you ran over something, you mean?
No, I have no idea why it's probably the dirt roads, they just rattle off.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that's this is a.
That's a good tip.
It's this I like a lot because you can see.
Have to look at, and you don't have to go back so far.
You don't have to try to turn it and undo it from like this. You're out here a lot much easier to hook it on.
Yeah, right. We noticed you added a 3rd solar panel to your rig. How did you do that?
First, I called Pleasureway and I asked them, what do I have to do to add a 3rd panel? Do I need to increase the size of the wiring or not, or anything like that? And they said they didn't really tell me yes or no, and they didn't want to commit. So I went to a place and bought the solar panel and some wiring, and I found out that the interior wiring was big enough. You just had to change the fuse to a bigger fuse. And it was pretty simple to do. It's a thing I think is good if you want a little cushion when it's cloudy out sometimes or something like that, or you're using some stuff that you use like an Instapot or a coffee pot or something like that where you're using it up. It helps with replacing energy into your battery.
So we don't have room to do that on the Ascent, but that's great that you could do that. You had to screw right through the top and put that gooey stuff down.
Yeah, the wiring, that was the easy part. The wiring, there's 4 wires coming from the 2 panels, and those wires hook into a 2-wire system that goes into the system. So but you had to have another bracket, so you have to have a 6-wire bracket put on there instead of a 4-wire bracket, but that's easy to buy and get. And it was really easy to do. Changing the fuse just was a bigger fuse because it's only 10 amp in the wiring. It was easy to get to, and it was a simple job to do. Another thing I did, a lot of people use hammocks to carry a lot of different product in.
Like we do.
and I decided I'd use a cargo net.
Nice.
And the same area first I had it down here, and then I moved it up to here, and I had the little brackets that go into the little black plastic decoration in the side. And you can put a lot in this.
So you've hooked it. Oh, that's different than our rig. Okay.
Yeah.
We put it into the seatbelt anchor.
Okay. So that's that I've done that. And if you have the big old hoses, I recommend 0G is the only way to go.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people buy their new motorhomes. They don't know what size they want a barbecue. They don't know what size to get. And I researched a lot, and I found out that this small Coleman, it's the smallest thing I have found that will fit underneath the couch and still have room there. And it has a cooktop. It has a top so you can set it down and cook it hotter. It has a grate pan here. It'll cook at least 4 hamburgers or something on it, and it uses the little green canister. I don't think you can hook it up to the back of the motorhome though. I investigated it, and everybody told me no, you couldn't. But the green canisters they last a long time, probably for 3 or 4 meals with one of these, and it doesn't take up much room, and it's easy to clean. And it fits in almost anywhere.
Now maybe somebody who watches this will say, I have a Coleman and I've hooked it up, and they'll tell you how to do it.
Well,
that would be great.
Old Colemans, it wasn't proprietary, and you could hook it up. But this one, they've made it the quick connect, so it's just their system.
Right.
So that's the problem with that. One other thing that has recently happened that's been on the Pleasureway Lexor is that someone lost their EMS. They said they locked it, but someone stole it.
Ah.
So this cable right here is the thickest cable I've seen on this type of a lock. So the nice thing about this kind of a lock is that you can make it as small as you want, and it can go through a small hole. And that way you can make it tight and it can't slip it over the pedestal or something like that. So most of these EMSs some have a metal ones and a little hole, and some have plastic. But it goes through this, and if this was your pedestal, they usually have a ring on there. It can go through that, or it can go around it. The way this works is this goes through a system here, then you can make it up to as tight as you want around that, so they can't lift it over, they can't pull on it and do anything, and it just goes right down to as small as you want, and then it locks, and they cannot pull this off of there. They may be able to cut this, but it's a 10 millimeter or about a 1/2 inch thick strong cable. This microfiber towel, it's 24 by 48. Here it is. And
that's nice.
It dries you off, and it dries really quickly, and it folds up to fit in here.
Wow.
So you don't have a big towel somewhere.
And it's made by
Rain
Leaf.
A lot of the Pleasureways have mirrors right here.
Yes.
And I was going to put a mirror on here, but I thought they'd be very heavy in weight, and I thought maybe it shouldn't be here, so I put one on here.
Oh, nice.
And this is an acrylic mirror. It weighs about 12 ounces. And they cost about $22. And I just glued this. This is a little end of the faucet, and I consider getting one of the faucets where you can pull a thing out. But this does basically the same thing. It swivels, and the water comes out like this, or you turn it and it comes out like that. Yes. Just with a twist.
Yeah.
You can get your whole sink.
And how does it attach? Because I know
it screws on right on the end.
So this part so you unscrew this part.
Yeah, you unscrew this part.
Okay, and that screws on.
This would fit on yours.
Okay, so you're going to get me a link for that.
So that's all it is,
Okay.
and they're probably
Because it wasn't it
$9 or
wasn't
something.
it the year after our model that they came out with the one that comes down and
Yes.
the fancy?
And I don't know that you need that. This because
No,
this
this
does
takes
the
care
same
of it.
job. In fact, you might want to try this on the end of yours.
Yeah. Is it coming? Voila.
Well, you try it. Hold the
Yeah.
bubbles out.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, so
Look at that.
the redundant washer.
Look at that.
And then you turn it to the soft there. Try it now.
Yeah,
There's your soft.
there you go. Yep.
And there's your other. The
Yeah.
other thing,
I've heard other people tell me about this.
you know, everybody, they use rubber bands, they
Mm-hmm.
use different things, and the little hair bob for their ponytails, they're much stronger,
Yep.
and they hold it out, and they don't break, and you let go of them, and they usually turn the water off.
Okay. You've added a Lagun table too.
Yes, I have. I think this is one of the most important things that we use in our motorhome. It works so well that if you want to sit in the corner and use a computer, if you want to bring it here, you want to bring it here and eat, 2 people, if you want to bring it around and you can raise this up and have it in an exact extension of your thing. You can put your Instapot on here or whatever you want to do, because there's a plug in here, so you still leave that counter space open. So it works really well, and it's easy to move, it's easy to take off. We now raise it up high, and then we sleep as like twin beds, and so it's easy to put your feet underneath here, but this easily comes off, and you can store this somewhere. What I used for the table was what the old table was if we just took off the bracket, it was right here. And the problem with the table here is when you go to sit in, you have to kind of squat like this to get past it, because it never really worked.
Yeah.
So this thing really works well.
Yeah, that's great.
And it helps hold the bolster up, because the bolsters fall down.
That's right.
And the bolsters, I've done what other people have done. I've put magnets behind them with a metal thing to hold them in, and that works. I use slightly larger magnets on mine,
I like those.
and they put in the same exact holes that where the Velcro things were, and that works really pretty good. Okay, all of these Pleasureways come with a Go Power battery monitor. The problem with the ones I think up until 2019 is they used a model that the highest voltage that we record is an AGM battery, and we had lithium-ion, which needs to be higher. So they sell this. It's about $90, and it's made for. It has Bluetooth. You can get stuff on your phone. It's made to charge at the higher rate that the ion battery needs to be fully charged.
And it was just a plug and play thing?
Yeah, you unscrew 4 screws, and there's like 4 wires. You just take them out of the old one and plug in the new one. It's a very simple thing. There's no cutting. There's no wiring. It's just plugged in there.
Oh, okay. We have a battery monitor now, but it still isn't necessarily charging at the proper.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And see, this is the upgrade system there.
Yeah, that looks just like ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this is the refrigerator.
Oh, that's right. You did a little thermometer. Oh, gotta fix this.
Let me find it. Okay.
So he has a different kind of thermometer that he puts in his. Now, the thing that's different from the one I use, which is a sensor push, is I get data, and you don't. You just get an instant reading.
Yes. This is just an indoor-outdoor thermometer.
And right now the temperature in the fridge was 51.
51 degrees.
Oof.
Actually, it gives it to the 10th, 51.1.
Yeah.
And you stick this in the refrigerator or in the freezer if you know how cold it is. It can go either place. And this is made, again, it's made to read in and out, Well, the out is this, and if this is in the refrigerator, we put a little, it says fridge here, and it instantly gives you don't have to open your door and lose cooling power or anything like that. The batteries last, when I get home, I take them out, and I put them in a Ziploc bag, and I stick them in the refrigerator so I don't forget them. But they'll last a year. So it's a pretty accurate little thing.
Okay, so if any of the viewers know of a refrigerator that will slip into the opening of the one that's in the Lexor, please put a comment in the video below, because I think we have someone who's looking for a new refrigerator.
Sort right in the corner right here.
So a lot of people have rigged up all kinds of things for their curtain across the front of the cab, and you have something that's even simpler. So you store it over there in the corner. So for those people with a Lexor,
this uses a half-inch dowel that's 4 feet long. It slips in a pocket that we've made, and this one, there's a groove right in here that this thing just pushes into.
so it's just held in by tension. Nice.
And this can go all the way over, and this can all be tucked in here, and there's Velcro here to hold it up there.
Excellent.
So.
Thanks, Jim.
Sure.
That's great. I'm sure you'll help a lot of people out.
I hope so.